in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision, I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing, I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision, I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing, I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision, I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing, I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your new...
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the El Nino Podcast. I'm Eladio Nino, and this is Real Everyday People. So I know everybody's waiting for Monday to get here because I always run it on Monday. But today I got special guests who came from out of town. They came way from Minnesota. And, I had to take full advantage of the opportunity to be able to bring them on. And Sunday was the day to make it happen. So here we are making it happen. But before I get into introducing you to them and their story, I got to send a big shout out to my man, Jimmy Fakuri. Man, much love to you. Thank you. I appreciate you. He plugged me in with a friend of his who was sponsoring my podcast. Big shout out to Nathan Blanchett, who bought a sponsorship packet today. He owns his own company. It's called Next Gen Electric. The quote is powering the future. He's a master license. He's a contractual. He's a contractor license. He's insured, and he has lifetime labor warranty. He's an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. You can check him out on Google. He's a Google Guaranteed Badge member holder. So for any of your electrical needs, residential, commercial, whatever it may be, please contact Nathan Blanset. Look him up on Next Gen Electric, powering the future. So thank you. I appreciate you. That's the first sponsorship of the year. I'm grateful for it. Definitely going to help me out. I appreciate you. And every week, bro, I'm going to be rooting for you and your business, and hopefully you can get some customers off of off of our promotion here. But happy Sunday, everybody. Much love to you guys. Thank you for being here. I have some special guests here. I got some good friends of mine. We got Erick and Tammi Washington from Minnesota. What up, though?
Hey.
Hey, everybody. I'm Tammi.
That's right, man. I'm so honored to have you guys here. I know you guys were here last year.
2 years.
Was it 2 years ago? See,
Yeah.
that time goes by so fast, man. It seemed like it was only last year. Big shout out to Dakota Shenanigat, and shout out to my man Steve Najee, and his organization Steps to Change. Good brother, man. He's since he's been home, man, he's always extending a helping hand to me, and in every and any project that I have going, he's been helping building bridges, from here to there and everywhere else. We out here working, man. Big shout out to Nation Outside organization. My man J-Mo Thomas, Dakota, of course. Who else? I mean, there's so many people that are part of Nation Outside. Rick Speck, much love to you. Respect, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody. Cecilia Zavala, I appreciate your support, and, just helping me during this difficult time that I've been enduring. Much love to you guys. Danny Harani, Daryl Woods, Quincy Smith, everybody that's been writing me reference letters and, just putting it out there for me to get, a good job out there and helping, open up doors for me. So thank you. I appreciate everybody who's contributing to my well-being. But, enough about me and everything I got going on, man. Let's move on to Erick and Tammi and what they got going on in Minnesota.
Well, all right. First off, Eladio, thanks for having us. You all right over there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My mouth went dry on me. I got long-winded. Yeah, man.
Oh no. But yeah, thanks for having us, man. We've known about your podcast. We've even seen your podcast from Minnesota. You know what I mean? We've been connected ever since we met 2 years ago through Steve. I call him Najee.
Yeah, me too. Everybody does.
And
Aref.
when me and my wife came to visit Michigan 2 years ago, and we came over to that youth center. Is that what a Latino youth
The
center?
Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation.
Yes, man. That has been sitting on our spirit for a long time, wondering how we could do that in Minnesota. Say hi to the people, baby.
Hi, everybody.
Use your mic.
Microphone.
Oh.
Use your
I'm
mic.
just holding the mic. Anyway, I'm just so glad to be here. Thank you for having us. Just really happy to be here and, talking about what we're doing with our nonprofit and seeing where things go from there.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about where you from. Where you grew up at, the good, the bad, the ugly, the siblings, moms, pops, aunts, uncles, community, all that good stuff.
All right. Well,
You start.
I grew up in South Minneapolis. At least that's where I started.
Okay.
I have two brothers. I'm the oldest.
Okay. All right.
Southside Minneapolis.
Right. South side.
I graduated from Washburn, but I also moved from the city to the suburbs before I graduated, and then moved back to the city. My mom and dad were separated or divorced, and
Now, how old were you when that happened?
I think I was like a preteen, like 12, somewhere in there.
All right. And how did that impact you when they separated?
Well, it was an impact because, I grew up with my dad being in the house, and then one day he wasn't. And then when we moved from South Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park, things just kind of changed. I don't know. I mean, how did it impact me? It impacted me because things changed a lot. We moved to a area that we were like the only black kids in the neighborhood, and
Oh wow, okay.
you know, there were kids, other black kids in the schools, but not very many back then.
Yeah,
So it was a culture shock.
yeah. I can relate. I can definitely relate to that.
You know, so with that, I mean,
So with you being the oldest and you had two younger siblings, brothers, sisters?
two brothers.
Okay, two brothers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like raising two pit bulls in, you know what I'm saying? No? Not
No,
really?
I was
She
kind
was
of the
a pit
bully.
bull.
What? Oh, man.
You know, and then the one brother, there's so many years between us. I was like 16 when he was born. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
you know, we didn't really grow up with him. By the time he came along, me and my brother were on our way out of the house.
Oh,
So,
okay.
that relationship is different, you know.
Okay.
But my
Yeah,
brother,
that's a big gap. That's a big difference
yeah,
for sure.
and then my other brother, we're just a year apart. So we were really close when we were young.
Okay. What are some of the challenges did you guys face with the absence of your father?
It was mainly just the separation of being kind of taken away from the family that we knew. We moved out to Brooklyn Park, and we're no longer right down the street from grandma and grandpa, cousins, aunts, uncles. I grew up being really close to the extended family, so that was the main thing that was off, because
Okay.
now we're just not as, you know, in close proximity to them. So that was the struggle.
Okay. All right. Eric, what about you?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Was raised in South Minneapolis. I grew up with her aunts and uncles, knew nothing about her. I knew her grandmother and her grandfather was a deacon at your church. I knew nothing about her when I was little. Used to play with her uncle. It's weird. My mom, I knew her grandmother way before I knew her. I didn't know nothing about her. Anyway, we grew up in South Minneapolis. I had two sisters and three brothers, and I was in the middle, so it was six of us total. So we was in South Minneapolis. We're in the 30s, and then moved to the 40s. So that's really nowhere, but it was just a little bit further south. So went to Washburn. My dad now, okay, so all my siblings, we all had different dads. But we all had this.
For real?
All of us.
In that case, Mama was a Rolling Stone, huh?
So,
With all
oh my
due
God,
respect,
you got to see
you
her
know
now.
what I'm
But
What?
so I was from my father. I'm my dad's only child.
Okay.
My two sisters and my younger brother below me had their dad. I'm in the middle. My brother and my two brothers had different dads as well. Okay, so I used to see my sisters.
Who was the favorite?
Out of all the kids,
Yeah.
they used to say I was the spoiled one, but probably because I was in the middle. When I was young, I was sickly, asthma, just all kind of crazy stuff. But my little sisters and my little brother's dad was the one that was around all the time, and he was really cool, right? And I used to notice when he would come to the house, he had a lot of kids. He had like 23 kids, so he was a Rolling Stone. But anyway, when his name was John. That was my little brother and my little sister's dad. When he would come over, I would notice that my little brothers and sisters would run to him, jump on his lap. My mom would fix him a plate, and they eating with him. And I used to just wonder why I felt out of place. I was like, it's like at a young kid, I knew that wasn't my dad.
Yeah.
One day I told my mom, "Where's my dad?" And I guess that was a moment. She took me to the state prison. I met my dad.
Wow.
I was about 12,
12 years old. Huh?
13, excited as heck. excited. It didn't matter that I was walking in a prison. That didn't matter. I was meeting my dad.
Ain't no doubt about it.
And we were cool, too.
What was that experience like for you?
Oh, I was excited. I was like, oh, I got my dad now.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all these years up until then, since John was around, and he was around a while because he was my younger brother and my younger sister's dad, who's around, bought me my first mini bike. He was straight. Loved him. But cool. I just knew.
Shout out to all the stepdads, man.
For real. He was cool. Man. John was straight. And then met my dad in Stillwater and was off to the races from there on.
What did that do for you, man? Like,
oh man, I was not long after I met him, he got out. And when he got out, he told me where he lived. Right? So he had a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay. So one of them bedrooms was mine.
Okay.
So whenever my mom kick me off, I just get on the bus and go to my dad's house. I was wild. A big old bed, you know what I mean? Room was nice. My dad was laid back and cool. We used to smoke weed together and just talk.
Okay.
You know, he was knowledgeable in a lot of subjects. I guess if you know, prison have a tendency to do that to you when you got time to read and learn. You know what I'm talking about?
So that place, it's either going to bring out the best in you or the worst in you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's all about, you know, what wolf you feed that day, you know?
So, yeah. But other than that, I don't remember when we were younger, we weren't hungry. And, you know what I mean? My mom had men running in and out. You know what I mean? But we was all right. So all the mess later on in life that we went to and gravitated to, we wouldn't found that ourselves. We didn't learn that at home.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure, because you know you could, whether single parent, both parents are raising you. You know, most parents are, working, tied up, doing what they got to do to provide, and the kids are learning from, community, school, TV, music, friends, other households, all that type of stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and then that's when you grow into playing roles. You one way at home, and then as soon as your parents leave or go to work, it's party.
All
that.
All that.
Yep. So
I didn't do that. I did not do that.
Okay, now
Party time.
You on TV.
I know I'm on TV.
Look. When we met at teenagers, see, me and her got a story. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So I met her when I was 18 years old. I was 17, so she must have been like 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Messing around, crazy about her. Growing up, breaking up, getting together. That must have went on for, 15 years.
Wow, for real? Okay.
Off and on, about 13. And then she got smart and took off because I was off the chain.
Okay.
Later, so I got married. I was married for 20 years. She got married. Never seen her. Heard nor her, hide nor hear of her. But I used to dream about her all the time. I tell people this all the time. And she was friends with my sister. So I asked my sister. And then I got a divorce. I'm fast forwarding. Got a divorce. Asked my sister once, whatever happened to Tammy? What's Tammy doing? You ever talk to her? Tell her I said hi. One day she called me and said, what's happening, stranger? I was like, it was on from that point on. So we went many, many years without seeing each other. And then when we met again, I was getting in a divorce and she was getting a divorce. And it just so happened that we met at that time.
Wow. Okay.
And
perfect timing.
And this was how many years ago? 6? 2017. So when we both got together, at that time I was already I was out of prison. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. I was out of prison. I went to prison 2 years, first-degree burglary, directly to prison, first felony, directly.
What?
Went
for burglary? Sent you
first
straight
degree,
to the penitentiary?
First degree, though.
Yeah, dang. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, they ain't nice about that, going in people's houses.
Laid everybody
weapon.
down.
Yeah. They don't like that.
Nobody move. Nobody get hurt.
And whether you have a record or not, you're going to prison.
Okay.
because I didn't have no felonies. But anyway, went to prison, changed my life. That's where everything changed. So I went to prison later in life. I was like 40 some years old.
Oh hell no!
So I'm in there with them youngsters feeling like this is bogus. I don't even know. But I knew my life was going to change. So I just went on with that. Did my time, got out, hit the ground running, started a men's group, got all my friends together, started, doing groups, asking the question, what the heck is going on? How we get to where we got to? A lot of my friends were sober, started changing their lives. So some of the friends that I was hanging out with and doing all the dirt with, we're all changing lives. Everybody's good. I get out of prison, start a men's group. During starting that men's group, I had an opportunity to be a mentor in the federal courts, and this is where the Kingsmen comes into play. Yeah, I was a mentor in the federal courts.
Yeah, but you weren't. It wasn't called anything.
Oh, it wasn't called. It was just called a men's group.
What was your father in prison for? Just real quick, I want.
Murder.
Okay, and how much time had he done?
10 years.
Okay, and how did that impact you knowing that?
I didn't even phase it. I didn't.
Wasn't phased. Okay,
No.
did it make you want to be a killer?
No. Thank
Okay.
goodness
All right.
gracious. A life.
Just because a lot of times the sons want to follow in the
And we talked about that
footsteps
earlier.
of the fathers.
No,
you know
I
what mean?
wasn't taking. But don't tempt me.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
There you go. So thank God, because
Yep.
things could have happened, but thank goodness nothing like that happened. You know what I mean? Guns and and we weren't when we were growing up though. The guns wasn't the big thing. We was all cool with everybody. I had rifles with scopes. That's what I was.
you
I
was
wasn't
an
in the.
assassin. That
We
what you
didn't have to
was.
walk around with pistols because we didn't need them. We was all cool with each other. We can go anywhere in the state. We wasn't. It just wasn't like it is now. It was none of that. So.
And that's crazy because, like, when I came home, I did 17 years. I got released in 2019, and I went into the barber shop maybe about a month after I got out, and everybody in there had guns on their hips. I mean, from the customers to all the barbers. I walked in there and I was just like, at first I was like, damn, like I'm at a disadvantage with everybody in society because everybody got a gun. But at the same time, I got, I got such strong faith in God, and I'm just grateful that I don't have a gun. You know what I'm saying? Because having a gun comes with a lot of responsibility, and when you kill somebody, that's something
Can't
that
take it
stays
back.
with you for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And I did time for a murder case as well, and we were younger, and the young man that was killed on my case, he was 17 years old, and he didn't even get to see his unborn child, and I wasn't the trigger man, but I was there, and I had to get crucified and pay the cost for it as well, And then my partner, rest in peace, Pat Bates, life and the universe has its way of working. This brother came home and he went back to the streets and, they ended up killing him, But, it's just that vicious cycle, of violence and that repetition of just, violence and murder becoming, normal, to people.
Yep. And it wasn't quite like that with us. And thank God it wasn't. You know what I mean? But we wasn't soft. But we was all about partying, man. We wasn't about trying to take your stuff and trying to rob and shoot. We wasn't on that, man.
What about gangs?
Gangs wasn't really popular until after. Gangs is after me. Like, it's after us, more or less, in Minnesota.
Okay.
I'm 62 years old, bro. So all
What? You don't even look nothing like
yeah,
it.
and she's 61.
What, man? Y'all look like y'all in y'all 40s.
60s,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
So the gangs, we wasn't,
For real.
we was all kicking it. It wasn't about none of that. It was the people we grew up with. After it's the
probably
generation
people
after us. Like it was probably people starting to trickle in Minnesota, especially in the 80s when I was like 20, 21. That's when, and you know who I remember first coming to Minnesota?
Who's that?
The Detroit boys.
What? You better know it. We everywhere. We
the
pulled
Detroit
up.
boys, y'all, we was cool though.
Yeah.
We was buying dope, so we didn't,
And that's what it's
They
all
give us a
about.
whole
Detroit,
bunch of it for us. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll take it. We're cool.
The
We'll holler
culture,
at
the
you
culture of Detroit is always about get some money, man. Survive, eat well, live well,
later. They were also the first ones under the wrath of the Minnesota justice system,
I bet, yeah, definitely.
and then Chicago came.
Oh yeah, them
Then
was-
L.A. came.
Yeah.
And they all got the wrath of the justice. So they started coming back. I think word started coming back. They'll go up there, big the Minnesota boys. Better leave them dudes alone.
Frying everybody up
Leave them
there.
alone. You'll go on vacation. Go where they can come back on probation.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, so the Kingsmen came along though. Check this out. This is where the Kingsmen came along. We were having men's groups when I got out in 2011. We was going strong until COVID. But when me and her got together and she started seeing what I was doing, because every Saturday I'm up, I got to go do the group. 12 noon, we'd eat. And then she came along and me and her got back together like I was talking about, and she started saying, why don't you name your group? I said, I did. It's the men's group. She was like, nah. Name your
The
group.
men's group.
It's the men's group.
Okay.
It's just the men's group. We was just doing what we was doing. We wasn't
Doing
thinking.
what men do.
And then, in that, when I was able to be a mentor in the courts, I started bringing the guys I was mentoring to the group. And then my partner, we was holding the group at his house. I got him to be a mentor too. So we would take our guys, say, meet us a Saturday at Kyle's house. We're gonna break bread and just talk. When she come along, she said, you should name it. I was like, name it? Yeah. She's like, and make a business. This is deep. You got something going on here. This is serious. And I wasn't looking at it like that. And I said, okay, let's start thinking of a name.
I thought of a name.
Okay.
He said, think of a name, and I pondered over it and ran a few things past him, and then that's when the name was
Kingsman.
born.
Okay.
And that's when.
So how many
Well,
names did you guys go through before you came up with the
man.
Kingsmen?
Just a few.
Okay.
But it wasn't the Kingsman Project. That's not the first business that we started. It's Kingsman Group was the first one.
Okay, the Kingsmen group. All right.
Which, we do. That's mainly the mentoring piece is where the Kingsman Group started, because that was aligned with the reentry court and the mentors and the group of guys getting together every week.
Just getting together,
That was
Kingsmen.
just the Kingsman Group.
Right.
And then once I joined the reentry court, once we got married, then I came
Brought
into
her
the
re-into,
court too,
right.
and started mentoring.
The women.
Okay.
And then as a little time went by, then we created the nonprofit, the Kingsmen Project. And
Okay.
that's the second one that we.
So is it like a branch of the Kingsmen group?
So
Or is
one's
it
a
just-
nonprofit, one's a LLC.
Yeah.
So the Kingsmen group is the nonprofit?
No, the Kingsmen
Kingsmen.
Project is the nonprofit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
So what does that consist of? What services do you guys provide? Tell us what the Kingsmen stands for. What are they about?
Come on, miss.
Well, the
Yeah.
the Kingsman stands for, well, first of all, we work with justice impacted men and women, mainly men and women coming out of prison. Some take the path of going through reentry court, and some take the path of not going through reentry court, but they're on supervised release. Both groups, we will walk with them, mentor them, help them with services, just kind of get a feel of what are they trying to do and what can we do to help you get there.
Okay, that's
That's
great.
the main crust of, the Kingsman Project. So then we also, the other branches, we have a weekly Zoom meeting where everybody logs on to a Zoom meeting, and that's where everybody just talks about whatever is going on with their life, if they're struggling with something, and then we cover like a main topic. Like today it was, what was it today?
can struggle be defeated? Can struggle be defeated? I think it can.
It absolutely can, but struggle is relentless.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so we have to be diligent with that as well.
And you're a good one to answer this question, because we were talking before we even started this, just chopping it up before we actually did the podcast, and we were talking, and I heard a lot of struggle. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, see, this is the kind of stuff we talk about, because people need to know how to handle struggle.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely,
Right.
man. That's when you have to kick in your critical thinking skills, you know, that self-communication, you know what I'm saying? Where, you know, because right now you talking to yourself, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I just recently dug myself out of a hole of depression, bro. And, you know, me just being human and who I am and going through all them type of emotions, like, you know, I just didn't even want to be here anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it got for me. But, you know, I stay prayed up. Like I said, I stay diligent. You know, my wife has my back. I have my family, you know, to support me. And, you know, sometimes in depression, you just have to go through the process and let it run its course. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, eventually I just started recently shaking it off and, you know, getting back to, you know, feeling normal and, you know, getting back into the groove of things and stuff like that. I feel more focused, more energetic, you know, stuff like that.
Good.
But everybody doesn't make it, though. Everybody
True.
doesn't make it through the pushback. You know what I'm saying? Some people call it quits right then and there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Whether they turn to alcohol, drugs, I mean, even suicide. People just really just like, you know, don't even want to live no more. You know, that's the type of pressure that struggle puts on some type of people. You know what I mean?
That's why we have those topics.
No, and I love it. You know, I've been
That's why we
a part
had those
of
topics.
so many of those meetings, and I'm talking about, you know, it's so admirable because you have returning citizens, both men and women, from different states all across the states. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
From state prison, federal prison, and everybody's just on there networking, building. You know
Yup.
what I'm saying?
Yup.
Exchanging ideas, resources. You know, the good, the
Yup.
bad, and the ugly. You
Yup.
know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I know a few times, you know, hearing brothers that were struggling with, you know, jobs or baby mamas or kids or
Yup.
rent and bills and all that type
Yup.
of stuff, and you know, how to stay strong-minded, how to stay diligent, having a support group and people you feel comfortable with, you know, talking about that, because you know, a lot of times people don't want to talk about
They
their
don't do it.
problems because everybody got problems, and then on top of that, you know, you don't want everybody,
Thank
you know, judging you by your struggle and the things you're
Right.
going through, and you
Right.
know, things like that. But it's nice to have a support group and people who can relate and share stories about how they got through them tough times.
Exactly.
You know.
And it saves lives.
It does.
It saves lives. Listen, there's something that we say too, that I say, and I say support is everything. Support is everything at all levels, in all arenas. We need support. People need people,
Right.
for one reason or another. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, in the arena that the people that we work with, a lot of times when they're going through struggles, like you said, you was in a dark place. A lot of times when people go to these dark places, they don't ask for help. They just say, I'm in a dark place and I'm going to deal with it.
Yep.
Right? And if you don't know how to deal with it, you could even go to a darker place. But sometimes if you can just say, hey man, look, and be willing to talk about it, you'll get your answer.
And it's just, you know, growing up in urban communities and gang culture, drug culture, street culture, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yup.
you know, trust is always an issue, you know?
Yup.
And, you know, having confidence or the type of bond or friendship with anybody to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to explain what you're going through and the struggles, the mental, you know, the heartbreak, you know, the depression, the sadness, you know, because you don't want people to use it against you, you know,
Right.
or people to judge you for it or throw it back in your face later. You know, even with friends, I've seen so many friends become enemies so quick, you know what I'm saying? So it was like a culture of, I can't express myself to nobody because I don't trust nobody, and I never know when they're going to use it against me, so I'm just going to live with it, you know what I'm saying? And
tuck
sometimes it comes out later, you know, through anger or violence,
Sideways,
or,
as I
you
like
know,
to
people
say.
turn to alcohol, they turn to drugs, they turn to violence, or, you
Yup.
know, whatever it may be. You know, and they never heal from their wounds. We got a lot of wounded warriors out in all of our communities, and I think that they need to have a safe space, create a safe space where they can heal and talk about their past instead of carrying these heavy burdens of trauma that are impacting them, their lives, their relationships, their decisions, and all that.
Right.
It's needed.
And last week we had a session on trauma. We had a trauma training class last week, and it was a judge from
Michigan.
Chief
and judge.
One of our Kingsmen,
Anthony Boyd,
facilitated the.
That's my
the
guy,
group.
Anthony Boyd.
They had the group.
And they talked about the different types of trauma, some of the triggers of trauma, and how to recognize it, and then teaching people how to work through some of the stuff that is traumatic for them, and identifying it, because a lot of times they don't even know why certain things set them off, or they feel a certain way about
it's vicarious trauma.
Yeah. They talked about that.
So we've had numerous sessions focusing on just trauma, because most of us have all experienced it in some kind of way.
Absolutely.
So we spend a lot of time kind of going through that and learning tools and how to work through it, and how to recognize it, and then doing something about it.
I think I got this fantastic knack at bringing up titles and topics, and it's so easy to do, because all I got to do is bring up something that ain't nobody talking about. A lot of the things we go through, everybody, half the screen, the whole screen will be going through it. There'll be 25 people on there, 22 of them going through what we talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
It can identify with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's very important. That's part of the critical thing.
And then they start talking about these things. And once one starts talking, somebody will have something, and then somebody will have something, and now we got the conversation. This is a conversation that they wouldn't have talked about with nobody.
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing. So
no, I love it. That's a form of healing. That's a form of cleansing. It's a form of educating others. Things
Absolutely.
like that. And that is really the concept of storytelling, telling your story, because you never know when your story can be the blueprint to someone else's survival.
Absolutely.
And that's why I always ask my guests when you come on here, please be genuine. I hope that you feel comfortable sharing the things that made you uncomfortable. What I'm saying? Because at some point, somebody is where you were once at. And they're trying to figure out, where do I go? And sometimes watching the El Nino podcast, watching this guest, and oh man, I can relate, or I was once there, and now I have some advice. Now I have options.
Right.
Now I have guidance. Some direction, things like that. But having that type of support is definitely different, because, especially for returning citizens, because, for me, I went from a residential jungle to a concrete jungle, and it's very different, because you get deprived of all things. You know what I'm saying? They take your socks, they take your underwear, they take your dignity, they take your name, and they replace it with a number. You know what I'm saying? So they try to wipe out your whole identity. You know what I'm saying? And then expect you to go in there and and act right. You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to learn something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
but
sometimes we miss the point that these places that these prisons in these cages, as I like to call them, a lot of times we put ourselves in them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it takes that it took it for me to get it. I had to come to myself in prison. That's where I came to myself, and I said, this ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. This ain't it. I'm gonna do something different.
It's accountability. You learn how to hold yourself accountable, because when I came to prison, it was the attorney, the judge, the prosecutor, the police, the snitch. It was everybody's fault. Why the fuck I was in prison? But who has the nigga snitched on me?
Right,
the judge was a hoe. The prosecutor's a bitch.
Right.
Everybody, the whole world, the white man.
Forever.
It was everybody. You know what I'm saying? Then I read a book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, and it talks about accountability, about transitioning the mindset, about having control of yourself and your emotions and your thoughts and your ideas. And it was very empowering, you know what I'm saying? And just learning about accountability and, you know, the impact that it can have in your life, you know, where I am no longer a slave. I am no longer a slave to blame my life and my shortcomings on everybody else. I started to hold myself accountable and realize that I have the power, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Personal
cutting all them
power.
strings. I'm no longer going to be the world's puppet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an independent, critical thinker, effective communicator, and I can get shit done. I'm a networker. I speak everybody's language. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And that's what we endeavor to have everyone that joins our group to be for themselves, because a lot of the people in that are participating in the Kingsmen Project, they also have businesses and nonprofits that they have started that are giving back to the community, that are helping people, you know, get to the next level. So, you know, our goal is to grow the network so that everybody can, you know, have the help and the guidance and the assistance to grow their business to whatever they're trying to do, whatever that business is.
And if we can help them get there, we will.
Absolutely.
Period.
That's great.
Period. We want to, as we grow, we want you to come with us, and whatever it is you want to do, and we can help you, we going to help you.
And you know what? I love it because it's for us, by us. You know, when I got out of prison, man, they gave me all these pamphlets and phone numbers and resources and all this shit to call.
Yeah.
And so I get home and, you know, my family already carried me through the 17-year bid of providing for me and all that. So I said, let me check on these resources, tap in, see if I get some food or some clothes or some financial support. Man, the addresses was wrong, the businesses, the phone numbers, shit was disconnected.
The website is
and
gone.
I'm like, man, this old outdated
bogus.
ass information. They sold me a damn dream. I think I'm straight. I'm gonna be sweet when I get there. All the numbers and names and address. Contact this one. They'll help you give you this, man. Ain't nobody answer the damn phone. I said, it's some Mickey Mouse shit here. They sold me a dream. You know what I mean?
And you know, there's a lot of resources out there, especially in the feds, but you won't know if you're not digging and asking. It'll be available. It's like, and being in the reentry court, you know, in the reentry court, and we're still mentoring in there after all these years, at least I am, because what it does is now we got the resources of the federal government. We're also sitting in rooms with judges. We ain't standing in front of them no more. We're sitting with them.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about.
And they like our work. You know, they like what we do because the participants come back and tell them what we did. You know what I'm saying? We bring them to our home. We break bread. We have picnics.
Yeah.
We do all that. Couples, you know, we just had 2 guys come over the other day, and they sat at my house for 2 hours, and we was just talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, we just want to come kick it with you. Come on.
But sometimes they come to the house to sit down and talk because they're going through stuff.
That's true,
I
too.
mean, it's been a few times where I've been amazed because, you know, they say that men don't share their feelings or they don't talk. They're not, you know, they just suffer in silence. No, these guys call him up on the phone and ask, can they come over? Because they got something on their mind. And when they come, they get whatever's on their mind. They talk through it, you know, and work through whatever issue they're going through. And then, you know, by the time they get up and leave, they're like, you know what, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And you know what, it's a beautiful thing to see. You know, when you see these young men who, you know, probably didn't talk to another man when they were coming up.
Probably let the guns do the talking.
Just, you know, they just did what they knew. And now they're really trying to do something different. They're really changing the way that they tackle their problems and their issues. And they're not sitting at home thinking themselves into some nonsense anymore. They have somewhere to go to reach out and talk to somebody who's been there, who's, you know, quite a bit older than them, who kind of can see things from a different point of view. And they're willing to you know, go and find that. That's really amazing to me.
You know, me and some of the fellas, we started a youth program at Adrian Correctional Facility. And, you know, a lot of the youth in there, I just realized that over the years there was a huge disconnect between adults and young people. You know what I'm saying? And I would ask the youth, that were in my program, like what is that about? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them were like, well, shit. My mom, she works the streets. My dad's in prison, or my dad's a dope fiend, and my mom's a drug addict. I sell my mom crack. I sell my dad dope. You know what I'm saying? My uncle, my aunts, they all buy dope off me. So it's like you got these young kids, 15, 16, 17 years old, selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? Or, adults that have made promises that they didn't keep, or, adults that, used and abused and misled and misguided all these young people. So now they like, man, they don't trust older people, you know what I'm saying? Because they've been hurt and disappointed and misguided and misled and used and abused and
abandoned.
And things like that.
They were abandoned.
Yeah.
We abandoned them.
Yeah.
We abandoned
for
them
sure.
on doing our stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We abandoned a whole generation, bro. And I'm taking responsibility for it, and I can say I was part of that.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
abandoned them. I was chasing dope, man. I wasn't thinking about no kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it.
You know what I mean? I might have been in the house, but I wasn't there. You get what I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't really contributing because I was more like a taker than a giver because it was about dope. We didn't even talk about the dope habit I had for 40 years.
Wow,
you know what I'm talking
that's
about?
a
We ain't gonna
lifetime.
talk about. We ain't even talk about the 14 treatments I've been to. Graduated probably 12 of them. That and then went to prison. You know what I mean? So from 21 to 47, it was dope and treatment.
Wow. Damn.
Okay.
That's
and
been
then
a road.
went to prison.
That's a hard road there.
Then went to prison. Listen, mind you, I went and found all that. Now I didn't learn this at home. Mm-hmm. And then went to prison. So that prison timeout, needed it. Best thing happened to me, prison. Because here I am.
Yeah.
Businesses. Me and my wife work together on our businesses. I also work a job now. I still drive dump trucks. She drives a school bus. We do the nonprofit work. We got the LLC that we told you about. She has her own LLC that she does.
I love
with
it.
signing, taxes. What else do you do?
I love it.
You know what I mean? Mrs. Jack of all trades here. And then
I love it,
and
man.
we still grind at that nonprofit, man. So when I'm at work in the dump truck, which is seasonal, thank God, that's why I can be here now.
Okay.
Because the season's gonna start real soon, the construction season.
Yep.
So I come see you guys right before I go back to the construction season.
That's right.
But when I'm in the construction season, the nonprofit and the Kingsmen Project don't stop. It don't stop.
I'm off in the summer.
It should coincide. It should coincide.
Man, I just be on the Bluetooth thing. It's a lot of telephone, like talking down, just hit the phone, doing phone calls, connecting the dots. Still, it don't stop. Mm-hmm. It don't stop.
And skilled trades are very beneficial. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people think that they have to go to college and get an education to be successful. I mean, skilled trades. I know people who live pretty good lives. You know what I'm saying? And the skills that you obtain are going to last you a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You could build the dream house that you want to live in. You know what I'm saying?
Still.
And right now, they're in desperate need of young men that want to work in that field, and women too, because the industry is aging out. They're retiring. They're old. They're but our young people, they don't want to do it.
You're not feeling the
it's
or
just,
they don't know that it's out there and available. It's an option.
It's just we raised with short-term goals.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying? Like I said, man, it's hard to dream big when you're surrounded by everything that's so small, and everything is live for the day because tomorrow's never promised. When I was a kid, like we were never taught to think about the future, prepare for the future, plan for the future. We were living in the day, in the moment, today. You know what I'm saying? We were never taught to manage money or save money, or nobody in my household was talking about, hey, education, graduation, any of that. Everything was based on survival. You know what I'm saying? We just really wanted to make it through the day. Now. And that's how a lot of the young people are living today as well. You know what I'm saying? They have to learn how to think long term. They have to think about a bank account. You have to think about building credit. credit. If you want a home, if you want a car, like there's so many things that you can do with credit that you can't do with cash. You know what I'm saying? And learning how to manage that and be responsible and, you know, lift your morale and lift your higher standards and have self-worth and have self-love and love others and love yourself, respect yourself, respect others and their differences. And I mean, you know, they need life skills. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
they need to learn, you know what I'm saying, you know, how to value themselves and all that type of stuff and learn about work ethics and the value of work ethics and what it can do for you as a person and what you can build behind it. You know what I'm saying?
They need also positive examples.
Absolutely.
They need to see people that look like them doing good things.
Absolutely.
So where is that at for a lot of the people that you were just demonstrating? Where that at? They need to see people that look like them doing well.
Yup.
And I'm noticing that even in an adult fashion, even in adults need to see it too.
Yeah.
In Minnesota, man, we got all we're a union state, so the wages is cool, right? You're getting good money, just like you said. But there's not a lot
Need
of
something to drink? Can you get us something to
My
drink?
water's right there.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that look, you know, there's not a lot of, you know, there's not a lot of people with different ethnicities working in these trades. You'll see mostly European people. You know what I mean? And I think a reason why in Minnesota now, not a lot. It's not a lot. You know, I'd be driving on construction sites, man, just looking for minorities, any kind of minorities. You know what I'm talking about? Like, where they at? I don't see nothing. You know what I mean? But again, they're not coming because they don't see people that look like them there, or enough of people that look like them there. So now that's what I be doing. I brought my little brother to the company. A guy just called me today at the hotel before I came here. He said, man, I'm not working at that place I was at no more, Union Shop. They told me they wasn't going to bring me on this year. That's another nice way to fire you. We're not going to call you back for the next season. Wow. I said, bro, call Northwest. Tell them Eric sent you and tell them that you got experience. Tell them I sent you, and I'll call you when I get back in town on Tuesday. So do it tomorrow. I'm going to follow up with you on Tuesday.
That's right.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
That's right.
But it's also my integrity, my character, and I got to be doing right and riding right. And I got to be right, too, for me to even be able to use myself as an example. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I didn't build the relationship, built the time in. They know who I am. And I don't bring a lot of people, but when I do, they hire them. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to send somebody here to fail.
Yep.
So I be, bro, you can't. I don't think you're gonna be able to handle this work, bro. You hear that it's $50 an hour, but you don't know what you gotta do for it.
Yeah, definitely. Hell yeah.
Oh, bro, I'm not even gonna do that to you, bro. And you can't hold a regular job for a year. You can't do this for a month.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Juan Ortiz. He's a good friend of mine. Juan Ortiz, he was in a biker gang for multiple years. He ended up doing time in the feds.
Yeah.
He came home. He's like the head spokesperson for the Carpentry and Millwrights Union. He's top guy. Both of his sons, Josh and Jake, I was in prison. We're with both of them, and they're both millwrights, carpentry now. And then his son so he's got 3 generations of his bloodline, including himself. They're all certified journeymans and millwrights and carpentry.
Guess what?
They're all living good lives, and they all come from the trenches.
Guess what? You know how they got there? Their daddy brought them.
Absolutely.
They seen somebody that looked like them, and just so happened to be dad. He said, "Come on," and they came.
Because when Dad was with the shit, they was with the shit. When Dad cleaned it up and got it together, they followed suit.
See.
And that's really all it takes, man. People like us, people who have been there, who have done that, who genuinely want to see your people do better. Be an example. Because they're like, how? Where do I start? Yes. It just starts with making a decision. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Straddling the fence. That's something that you have to be mindful of, because that's very dangerous. I said I learned that the hard.
Every time on the wrong side.
Man, I was doing this much good
every time,
and did this little bit of bad,
and it was wiped out.
And everything that I did good, when I told you so. I knew it was just a matter of time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
man, goodness. I felt so much shame. I said, God dang, but that was the game changer for me because it taught me a lifelong lesson. You got to know what side of the grass you walking on. You know what I'm saying?
You know what we're really coming up against too is women. So I'm getting my wife to try to start a group like we got with the men. I can get a screen full of men with no problem. Women, different deal. Kind of tell us let's ask her what she's coming up against, trying to get the women together like I can get the men together.
Well,
Talking to the mic.
Mainly, they don't really, they just kind of don't want you in their business. That's the bottom line. They just, I got this. I don't need no help. I'm gonna just do me. If I need you, I'll call you. They're just resistant, and I sometimes I can break through with one here and one there, but overall they just are resistant to that.
I mean, women have been catching hell for years. They've been beat up, betrayed, lied to, cheated on, did bad, wrong. They still licking their wounds. They got issues with trusting men, trusting family, trusting dad, trusting mom. Trusting community. Have anybody that's going to help empower you, strengthen you, contribute to you, without sitting here trying to tear you down. And now you owe me something and throwing it back in your face and all that. Women have endured a lot, historically, what I'm saying? And now they finding their strength. They the ones that been holding it down when the feds came through and wiped out all the gangs and locked everybody up. It was the moms and the women of our communities that was holding down and taking care of the kids, 2, 3, 4 kids, and and working and hustling and try to make sure everybody got shoes on their feet and clothes on their back and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
this is true.
Yeah. And it takes a lot to get to where they at today, man. So it's like you realize that everybody ain't your friend, and that's why I think it's hard for them to be vulnerable, because women have been vulnerable for so much and always caught the shit end of the stick,
Though, since women has been coming on the group, we got more women than ever that be coming on the group, and it changed the whole energy of the group, bro. It changed the whole energy of the group. You know what I mean? It's more open. It's like a whole nother book was open. You know what I mean? And it's like now it's almost like we complete, because their piece, like you were saying, their piece matters. But now that the women kind of got a voice in the group, it changes the energy of the group, bro. Because now they feel that they can trust the people on their group. It's a safe space for them. The group, as you know, it's a safe space. Yep. So with that safe space, boy, it's rich now. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, that's deep.
And we all wounded warriors. We all got scars. We all mutual. We all been through the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yup. Here it comes. So, yeah, we're having a good time with it, man. And again, we're really glad to be at the El Nino podcast, because we used to watch Steve. We watched Steve's
episode. I'm trying to get Dakota on here, man. I'm ready when she's ready, man. I know she got a good story. I know she got a lot to say,
Give Dakota 2 mics.
Yeah, for sure, man. Dakota been through the trenches. Native American, been 11, 12 years in prison and coming home and just making it happen. Yeah,
Dakota a boss. I be checking her out.
Definitely. She take care of everywhere I go. She there. For real.
She with the group too. She over here with us on the Kingsmen, and it's really an honor to have her. And watching her develop, because I remember when she first came on talking about she didn't know what the heck she was gonna do. You know what I mean? Now she got a whole deal of her own. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's development, and we're watching it develop, and that's what we like to see with the people that come on, and that's with the Kingsmen. We like to see the light bulbs go off. Sometimes you see people's light bulb go off, and then they're just gone. They're gone. It's like, ooh, did you see that? Because I always reflect and remember when people come. I remember them. I forget a lot of stuff, but I don't forget the journeys of people that have been sticking with us and when they started, because I got this thing where I like to see where they start and see where they're at. and how
Oh,
far
yeah.
they've come. It's a joy. It's a joy to us. Me and her talk
Absolutely.
about it too. I was like, you
Yeah.
remember when so-and-so came on? They was like, now they running a business. You know what I
That's
mean?
right,
And,
that's
and they
right.
coming in, still coming back and checking with us and saying what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, and it's good to be that kind of person. We ain't asking you for nothing. We just want to help
you.
and what we ask is that you come and reach back for somebody else.
Absolutely.
That's all we trying to do.
Empathy is
trying to help
a
somebody.
game changer.
It
You
is.
know,
Yeah.
it's a hell of a game changer when you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Like I said, when I was running the youth the youth program that I had in prison, there was this young man, and he loved stealing cars. That was his thing. That's what he was in prison for, was stealing cars. And one day I just asked him, I said, brother, how would you feel if somebody stole your car?
Oh,
The light bulb went on. Bing.
You know
Nobody
exactly.
ever asked him that question. He never thought how it would feel if this happened to him, you know? And he was like, I would be very upset if somebody stole my car. I said, so how do you think that all these people... He said, oh, no, but I just steal them from drug dealers. I said, brother...
that makes it all right. They can buy another one.
Oh my God.
They
I
got
said,
it.
no matter what, you know, people had to pay for their vehicles, whether they work for it, whether they're making car payments, whether they bought it, whether they got to fix it. It doesn't matter. It's theirs. You know what I'm saying? It's not yours. I said, when I was a kid, my mom told me two of the worst things you could be in life is a snitch and a thief. You know what I'm saying? She said, because a thief, nobody wants you around. Nobody wants you in their house. Nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to like you. And she told me this at a young age. You know what I'm saying?
remember.
Yes, yeah. And it's true. And I shared that same story with him, you know? And that's how them lessons that my mother taught me, I was able to pass on to others. When we talk about each one, teach one. And when I explained it to him and broke down the whole empathy piece and putting yourself in a position and feel how they felt, you know what I'm saying? It was an absolute game changer, you know what I mean? And I know that it's life changing to learn a lesson like that, to learn how to you know, empathize with people, you know? Because a lot of people always focus on their own needs and wants.
Yeah, and that's being selfish, and we don't care about what you're talking about anywhere. What you want,
But when you grow up in the hood, though, bro, you're taught by all means necessary. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth,
better
fire
get
with
yours.
fire. You kill one of mine, I kill two of yours.
You're right.
So that's embedded in our brains. Like we was raised like little soldiers, like we was in the military, and it's, you know, kill or be killed. You know, only the strong survive. All that type of shit that was indoctrinated into us. You know what I'm saying? That's what paved the way for the life that we lived. You know,
prisons and graveyards.
are full. They're full. You know what I'm saying? They burying people on top of people. Shit, you can't even afford to die today because you can't even afford to get cremated. You can't afford to get buried. It's so expensive. You know what I'm saying? You can't even afford to die.
Oh my goodness, I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's the truth. Shit,
too
why you
expensive to die.
think? Why you think it's all them fundraisers and GoFundMe and everything? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, shit, we ain't even got shit, and everybody out here killing each other for nothing. You know?
And that's what we're trying to do, man. We're just trying to do something positive.
We doing it.
try
Trying to help people, one person at a time.
Just try to help somebody. And I find in too, real quick, that seems like a recipe for people like us that's been incarcerated, come out and want to do something different. It's all about helping somebody else. That's the thing. That's the recipe for success for people like us that's been in cages. You get out and you try to help somebody else. Now you're giving back to your community. You're not taking away from your community. Now you're trying to help somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't take much, and after a while, it becomes a drive and a passion of your life. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Just whatever you can. Yeah, do nothing real huge, because you know success comes from the small things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it grows. You know, so it's just, as long as I'm trying to help somebody else, I ain't all stuck on what I'm tripping on.
Yeah, learning how to take care of myself is something that I just recently learned. You know, my mother raised me to take care of people, but never taught me how to take care of myself. And you know, I'm just learning that. I'm 46 years old, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just learning how to, you know, take time for myself. You know what I'm saying? Treat myself and be good to myself, protect myself. You know, all that type of invest in myself, all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because man, I used to just give everything I got for the sake of others. You know what I mean? But in today's society,
That's
man,
common.
it just seemed like it's every man for himself. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, I grew up in a big family. I grew up in a close community. I grew up in gang culture. You know, we always had brothers and sisters, and we was always looking out for each other whenever we can. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like every man for himself, bro. You know, they don't got time for it. They don't got resources. They don't have money. They don't have, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's going through their own shit, you know?
Yep. Taking care of their families, or you know, or just trying to live.
Yeah.
Trying to live.
And whatever that looks like,
Exactly.
you know?
Right.
Yeah. Listen, let them know where they can find you at, man. You know, any platforms, websites, all of that.
Website, kingsmenproject.org. KINGSMEN, Kingsmen, one word, .org. If you go there, that's our website, you'll get all our information.
Yep. And then also, we have an annual picnic every year, the third Saturday of July. This year it will be July 19th. We are planning on having that it's the third annual, right? Yep.
Yep.
And then from now until we need donations, we need people to, you know, get in there and get on our website and donate, because the more donations that we receive, the more that we can help our Kingsmen community and family.
Yep.
That's
So
right.
everything is off of kingsmenproject.org. Her bio's on there, my bio's on there, phone numbers and all of that. That's the best and the easiest way to catch us.
Man, please show them some love, some support. You know, each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep the train rolling. And, you know, if you can find it in your heart to be able to break bread, you know what I'm saying, to see others prosper, I would ask that you support their cause, support their organization. Thank you. I appreciate you. You know, if you guys ain't got nothing going on Tuesday, they're gathering at Clark Park at 3 p.m. They're going to march all the way to Michigan Avenue, you know, as a sign of support for our immigrant community. So, you know, if you guys got some time, please show up for that and show them some support. Other than that, man, thank you. I appreciate you guys. You already know, every Monday at 8 p.m. El Nino Podcast, bringing you the most exclusive guests, you know, and the most exclusive stories, and we sitting here building, and we're healing one story at a time. You take it easy, be safe, much love.